a whole new year. As we've mentioned, a good time to do some navel gazing. Now, we love social media on Cityline. It helps us to speak directly to our viewers. But you know what? Things can get nasty sometimes. So we thought we would focus this year, all of this year, on keeping it real. We're all in this together. We want to elevate the conversation. So we thought we'd start by talking about some of the negativity on social media. Take a look. From Instagram, don't get too buff. We still like to see a feminine Tracy on Cityline. Some women can easily go overboard.
Winston doesn't add anything to the show. I always tune out when he comes on. Waste of time.
FYI, the shorter your hair gets, the bigger your nose looks. Just thought I'd let you know.
Women? Isn't Winston counts as one as well?
From Facebook, hi Tracy. I don't like your show. I don't think you are not a nice person. All you think about you and your beauty. You are only nice to people because of your show. Thanks.
Do you even know what you're talking about half of the time? Go home where you belong.
Instead of going to the gym, why don't you go home and take care of your children? Hashtag priorities. That's a big no-no. You don't bring my kids into it.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay, please welcome our panel. We've got Leanna Lair-Perot, Winston C., Marilyn Smith. That's when things start getting like, I start getting the hairs on my neck raising. It's like you mentioned my family members. Oh my goodness.
Okay, well the irony with that was, I think that was the first and only time I'd been to the gym last year. And of course somebody wants to call me out on it, so thank you very much.
A little bit crazy. I want to pick your brains now. Why do you think people feel they can be negative on social media and send out that kind of hate or just this negativity? What do you think, Leanne? What's going on?
You know what, I think it's the nature of the beast for us, and I always tell myself, oh, it's because we're on television and people feel that we're accessible, and that I try to spin it, this is at least in my own head, I say, well, maybe they just think we're friends and that they can get away with saying that. But then I think, my friends wouldn't even say that to me. So I don't want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
So I really do feel like it's an extension of media, and they're taking it as entertainment factor, and that there's no consequences for them when they do those things.
Well, I would even add to that, for those of us that do work in television, I would almost expect a certain level of, you know, sure, they want to be able to say something, and now they've got the access, and so go ahead and say it. But this is happening to people who are not working in the media as well.
Exactly.
So this is happening to people who work outside of the media in different industries. It could be a mom at home alone with her kids looking for some interaction and getting beat up for silly reasons. So Winston, what do you think?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, those of us in media sign up for this. We understand that we are publicly accessible, and people are going to tweet us things, but like you said, the sad part is a lot of this goes offline into people's everyday lives. So, you know, it could happen to Joe Blow down the street and they may end up getting beat up. And we've seen sad cases in the news where this doesn't, you know, it's not a pretty situation, and it's a really sad reality. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to how we handle the situation too, how we handle the hate tweets, and do we block them? Do we, like, how do we reply to them? Do we reply to them at all? Do we publicly shame them by retweeting it? Like, do we right a wrong by another wrong? Like, what do we do?
What do you do?
Personally, you know, I take a look at the situation first. I don't instantly block. Some people instantly block, but you can only block so many people, and you're not really sending the right message, right?
Agree.
So you see if you can creatively respond to a message in a way that's responsible and can send the tone that you're trying to send, but do it in a way that's still professional. And if they keep engaging, then I block. There's a situation where there was a viewer that kept tweeting me, and it had to get to a point where I had to block them because they started harassing other people, people of my family, my friends, my coworkers. I had to block them, and other people had to block them. And it's a situation like that where you do have to really just seize all contact. But I leave that to the worst case scenario. I don't do it right away.
Because a lot of it is putting things in perspective, right?
Exactly.
Okay, Marilyn, how about you? What do you think is going on here?
Well, I think that the anonymity of the internet makes people grow a pair.
Yeah.
And and the things that they would never feel that they had the strength or the courage to say to your face,
Yeah.
that they are hiding behind that. And what I'm afraid about is that we are real on there, and that the people that are saying things, is that really them, or is it some creepy guy in a room doing nasty things? So I'm afraid of that, because we're being who we really are. Like we know that that's us, and people think they know us, and so I just feel that anonymity gives people this thing that they can say anything they want.
Yes.
And I always say, if you cannot say it to somebody's face, then don't say it at all.
Yeah.
And I'm appalled that, I mean, when I got goosebumps to think about your kids. I mean, the worst thing I got was someone said, shut the blank up, and it was like, you don't even follow me. Why don't you just not look? Like, what?
Why?
And these people think that, like, many of these people have 8 followers. They're just they're little people, and they just think social media is they're an egg. They're this anonymous person with no profile picture. They can say whatever they want.
Yeah, but even then, is that really their picture?
No, and that's the biggest thing. We have to create this environment where social media is a place where we're all friends. Create a community, so you're going to meet other people. For us, we're all television people, but for other people, you have your friends with you, and that way you're stronger as a group.
Right.
And when you do have these hate tweets, you're keeping things real versus being fake profiles attacking each other, because there's no point in that.
I think it's putting it into perspective too, in the sense that you have to think of who those people are, and they're not in your life, so you don't need to engage. And I always sleep on the tweets too before I start.
Sleep on it. And I think also the one thing that I found that really helps is when you do get that comment that sort of comes out of left field because you were putting something that you felt was genuine out there just to let people know what's happening in your world, and you get something sort of hateful back. Sleep on it and then answer, but answer thinking in your mind, giving them the benefit of the doubt. And like you said, hopefully they're coming from a good place. And every time I have answered, because I always respond to hate tweets or Facebook posts or Instagram posts, I'll always say something, and it's usually very kind, and I find that many people are disarmed immediately.
Exactly.
So there is a full 180. They went from, I hate your hair, you should cut it all off, it's a ridiculous mess, and by the end of the conversation is, you look great, bye. It's like, well, I don't know what happened. But I think that we've got to pass on the kindness by being kind.
You know what? I really like that, Tracy, because I don't normally do that. I just go, I'm not ever going to talk to you again. Right. And the only time I ever did, there was a turnaround. And so thank you. That's a great idea.
It works with most reasonable people. And come on, if you're from Canada, you're usually a reasonable person, aren't you? So here's the thing. Throughout 2015, we're going to be talking about how we can keep it real, people. None of the perfection. I have some of those perfect shots on my Instagram, but I often try and tell you this was the 2 seconds where the child wasn't screaming, when there wasn't snot. So let's try and keep it a little bit more real on social media. Let's be our true selves. Let's try and keep out all the hate. We want you to join the conversation. The hashtag is CityLineReal. Look online, we'll have a section, and there'll be different challenges you can do every week. So let's be nicer, right? Let's hold hands.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hold hands. Be nice. Go to